If you're scared about ICE detaining you or a family member, please listen carefully. I want to explain simply who is most at risk and what is the most effective way to ensure your opportunity to defend your deportation. One, there are 3 people ICE is targeting, like 3 groups that we can break this into in terms of enforcement priorities. 1 is people with a prior removal order, obvious. 2, people with a criminal history. So they're here, they've committed a crime, they're undocumented. ICE might review court case records in the county system and pursue detention of those individuals. And then 3, people who have entered the United States within the last 2 years, either with CBP-1 or some other type of humanitarian parole, or without inspection completely. Now, of those 3 groups, there are 2 who would be subject to expedited removal. Expedited removal is kind of what we're hearing about in the media and what most people are scared of. Those are those stories where you're essentially detained by ICE and you're put on a plane the next day or within a matter of days, right? You don't have the opportunity to defend your case in front of a judge. Now, the 2 categories of people who are going to be subject to expedited removal that are enforcement priorities are the people with prior removal orders. Obviously, they have a prior deportation order, so ICE can take that order and actually execute that order, remove them immediately. And then secondly, that group of people that entered within the last 2 years. Actually, people who have committed crimes are not necessarily subject to expedited removal. And so what this means is that if you are detained by ICE and you don't have a removal order and you did not enter within the last 2 years, you are not subject to expedited removal. Okay? That means you can defend your case in front of a judge. It doesn't mean people who are detained who have been here for over 2 years do not get deported the next day, but the reason they do is they sign their own deportation and sometimes they don't even know it. So the single most important thing that you can do if you are detained by ICE and you are not in one of those 2 categories is not sign anything. They might try to force you to sign a document. They might make you believe that you have no other choice. Oftentimes that document is your own removal. Do not sign anything. Trust that your family on the outside is getting you an attorney who's going to try to argue for your release, either with or without a bond. And then you're going to be here for probably a long time fighting that deportation. You can then consult with your attorney to see what forms of relief you might have available. So single most important thing, you get detained by ICE and you are not in one of those 2 categories. You don't have a prior removal order and you haven't entered within the last 2 years. Do not sign anything. Be patient. Don't let them intimidate you. It is not, you do not have to sign your own removal. Let your family get an attorney so that they can get you out of detention, and then you will fight your removal case alongside your attorney and explore what options you have.